what's going on, everyone? It is June 26th, 2021, and here we are on a Saturday. Pretty crazy to actually be here on a Saturday. Feels very weird to be covering wrestling on a Saturday. Like, it's the weekend, man. Everyone's out. Everyone's about doing their own things. But thank you for the ones of you that are here on a Saturday, man. Like I said, feels incredibly weird, but tonight is the last night. We go back to Dynamite on Wednesdays next week. Oh my God. It is so good, man. It is so good. I cannot wait for it. I am so excited. And next week, well, yeah, I guess it's still next week. Yeah. So Wednesday's episode should be very, very great. I'm so excited for that. We're definitely going to be talking about that. And I think we're going to start the show off by talking about WWE. Because I didn't want to do it yesterday during the gaming stream. So I feel like we should do it today. Perhaps. But let me shout out everyone that is here. Thank you guys so much. Fickle is here. How you doing, my friend? Leroy was here. Vanch and Ashton, how you guys doing? Barry says, what was the point of the Young Bucks coming out at the end? I don't get it. I'm not sure, my friend. Let's see here. Maddie's here. How you doing, my friend? He says 4 out of 5 star show. Fun show, but pretty uneventful. I really liked it. I thought that tonight's show was really good. Really, really good. I liked it. Obi James, how are you doing, my friend? Vanch says, yo, tell us about the face reveal. We'll talk about that. Safa, how you doing, my friend? He said, I thought this was the best Dynamite in a while. The Friday shows have all been meh, but even before that, it was kind of meh to me, but the show was great. Yeah, this was a great show. I really liked it. I did. Ashley says, show your face. We'll talk about it. Sunday morning. We're crazy, man. Marcel says this show was flames. How's it going, Blake? How you doing, my friend? Trevin says 4 days away from Wednesday after the insane show tonight. Absolutely love to see it. Yeah, it's great, man. I'm so excited. It's gonna be so nice going back to Wednesdays. And Flash member for 4 months now. 4 months. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Let me get some woos here for Flash in the chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate you for being a fellow disciple. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Did I turn that off? Okay, I did. All right. So glad to see that everyone liked the show. I liked the show as well. And like I said, it feels weird. It feels so weird to be here on a Saturday. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't even be home right now. But here we are. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the WWE cuts from yesterday. Very sad. Very, very sad. So first up on the chopping block yesterday was one of the new writers. Her name was Candice Mobley. Candice Mobley. All right. She is a new writer for WWE that was working on creative. Her first week was last week. Her first week, like on the actual job, she started. And she was released already because she did she did a podcast and said some stupid shit. Vanch with the 20, those are rupees, right? The 20 rupee super chat, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much. Pleasure to have you here. Maddie says, I definitely want to see a Luchasaurus Omega match in the future. Sure. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Marcel also says AEW should not hire any of the release guys. Yeah, I don't know. But if you weren't aware of this Mobley lady, she did a podcast. I'm not sure what kind of podcast this was, but she said that she had just got hired for WWE Creative and that she had no fucking clue what she was doing. She didn't know any sort of wrestling or anything like that. And she said, I think the champion's name, I think the guy, the main guy, she said he is a quote unquote big black man. And I believe his name is Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley. And I was like, oh my fucking God, man. Like, you gotta be kidding me. You should not. It's okay. It's one thing. I don't think that like it's the end of the world if a person doesn't know the ins and outs of everything wrestling when they work there. Cause of course you can try to figure things out as you go or whatever it is, but you should never get on something and be like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Like, please don't do that. Don't do that. Vance with another 20 rupees. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Some more woos. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Obi James says "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Bobby Ashley. Yeah, that's the first. I don't know why, but when I heard Bobby Ashley, I just thought of like Rick Astley, and I just thought of getting Rickrolled. That's like the only thing that comes to my mind when talking about that. But later on in the podcast, she was talking. She said she went on a date and told the guy that she worked for WWE, and he was like, "Doesn't that like, what did she say exactly? Like devalue you or something, or like, isn't that embarrassing? Something along those lines, that you work for WWE." And she was like, "Well, I get paid 3 times as much as I would at a normal job, so like, no." What? Okay, you gotta go, bro. Like you gotta go. You cannot be saying this stuff on a podcast. And I'm not sure how big this podcast is. I'm not sure if it has 6 listeners. I'm not sure if it has 10,000 listeners. I'm not sure, but you should never go out and say this stuff in public, like on a public platform. If you want to talk to your friends like that, by all means, talk to your friends like that. Tell them you have no fucking clue what you're doing, and cool, like, good for you. I'm glad that you secured a great job that pays 3 times more than what you were getting paid elsewhere. But like, come on. You really think that your employer was going to hear about all of this and just be like, well, screw it? I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe maybe it's WWE. Who knows? They're the ones that don't have any wrestling knowledge as a requirement on their application to be in creative. All they care about is you being having writing history or TV production history. That's the only thing that they care about in creative, which I think is one of the problems as to why we get what we get for this. Vance coming in with another 20 rupees, my friend. Thank you. All the woos in the world. You know what? I'm going to give you something special. I'm going to give you a ding dong hello and a damn. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Marcel says, "Can you believe people defend the fact that WWE does not hire people who know wrestling?" And that's one of the things. I want to take one of the comments if I can find it, because there's a lot of comments in here. But you know, that makes me wonder about certain things. And one of the things that I was saying, because someone was talking about how it doesn't matter, like you shouldn't have to have wrestling knowledge or any of that for you to write for the product. And it's like, I understand that's cool. I can understand how someone could have no knowledge of wrestling but be able to work the show. Like, that makes sense to me. I can understand that. But at the same time, it makes me wonder if this is the reason why certain things are missed, because people do not have, like, the creative team does not have the wrestling knowledge. We had the example that I used was Drew McIntyre, right? So Drew McIntyre, he was world champion in WWE for well over a year, I believe. And he fought with Randy Orton for like 4 or 5 months, back and forth for the championship. Andrade was cleared to wrestle and wasn't doing anything. And Jinder Mahal was cleared to wrestle and wasn't doing anything. Drew McIntyre has a clear past with Andrade and a past with Jinder Mahal as well. Andrade is the one that took the NXT championship from Drew McIntyre. Why is that not a story that was told anywhere? Do the writers not know this? And then Jinder Mahal was in a group with Drew McIntyre, 3-man band. He's a former WWE champion. Why was there no story there? Do they just not know? Man, like, I don't know. It feels like the people just don't know what's going on. And maybe that's the reason why we're not getting anything interesting, because they have no idea. Vance coming in with another 21 rupees this time. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. All the rupees. And I'll give you 2 dams. Damn. 3 dams. Thank you, man. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. It says, sorry, it's not much, but I wanted to do something unique. So instead of 81, I did 421s. No worries, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. Super chats are never required. Never required. I just love that people just come out here and hang out and bullshit with me. That's enough for me. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you. I appreciate it. Safa says, I heard a rumor that they are now doing Jinder versus Drew at SummerSlam, but what's the point now? Yeah, I mean, I feel like it it was there. It was perfect for the WWE Championship, and he was there. He was ready. Drew didn't need to feud with Randy Orton for so long. They could have certainly done something else. So it really just makes me wonder if they just don't know. They just don't know. That's got to be it. They don't know. Trevor says the fact that we saw Heath versus Drew but not Drew versus Jinder blows my mind. And there were plenty of story for Andrade from the NXT days. Yeah, and not only did we get Heath versus Drew, but Heath got released from the company. Heath Slater was released from WWE, and then weeks later, or however long it was, he came in and wrestled after being released. And you're telling me you have Jinder Mahal on your roster, a former WWE champion, and you couldn't put him in the match? Come on. Manny says Jinder was injured for a while. He came back, then got injured again, then just came back with the two big guys. He's working with Indus but like one of them is not the guy from Indus They replaced him or something like that. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up. Warrior says not knowing wrestling is okay, but if you're going to talk about your job on a public platform, you should at least know the basics, like knowing who the top champion is of your brand you're writing for, or just don't mention it. Yeah, like just be like, hey, yeah, I just started working with WWE. I'm there's two shows, there's Raw and SmackDown, and I'm working on Raw. Period. That's it. I'm working on Raw. You don't need to go into details. You don't need to tell us that Bobby Lashley's the world champion. You don't need to tell us who the United States champion is. You don't need to tell us who the tag team champions are. Just cut it. That's it. That's it. You don't need to say Bobby Ashley or Sheamus or like just saying everyone's names wrong or something like that. Like just just cut it. Just end it there. Ashton says 205 Live is now No 05 Live. Yeah, rip 205 Live. Ashton says RIP 205 Live. Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. My fiance told me that she saw a post on Twitter saying that the WWE Battlegrounds game has like 88 wrestlers in it or something like that, and 29 of them have been released since that game came out. Nearly 30 people. So like if we round that up to 30 and then round up the 88 or whatever to 90, that's a third of the game. A third of the roster from WWE Battlegrounds has been released. That is batshit crazy. Like, I don't get it. Don't Be Fickle says, hey man, so are we getting some type of face reveal soon? Yeah, that's my setup. That is my setup. That is what you will see when I'm sitting in that chair. That is behind me. I'm still working on getting a couple things set up. I noticed that so like I said, I got these two Rode PSA 1 something that I have for like they're like microphone stands, but I converted one to like hold the camera, but it doesn't hold it like straight up. So I need to like adjust that a little bit because I don't necessarily like how it's like a little bit crooked, and I always want it to be the same how it's positioned. So I'm still working on a couple things. It's not like tomorrow, like it's coming soon, but not quite yet. I want to make sure the kinks are worked out for everything, and when I do it, I will certainly let everyone know. I'm not just gonna be like, yo, like it's gonna be a spectacle. You know what I mean? I'm gonna milk the shit out of it. Okay. So so yeah, you'll know. Ashley says 2K20 is so weird to play now. EC3 is in that game. Yeah, dude, 2K20, the bar is still together. The bar is still a tag team in 2K20. Like, huh? Warrior says it's weird that they're apparently supposed to be putting more spotlight on the cruiserweight division, but just released more than half of the division itself. Yeah, someone told me there's only 2 people left on 205 Live. There's only 2 people left on the 205 Live roster. So I'm assuming that show's getting canceled because, like, how else are you going to run a show with 2 people? Like, what the hell? I don't know. Maybe they're just going to put them on NXT now. I guess that makes sense, but Philip, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Van says, by the way, play an 8-man ladder match on AEW Underground. It will be a lot of fun. Trust me. We had an 8-man tag team ladder match on AEW Underground, and it took like 45 minutes. It was so long. It was so long. Van says, check your DM. Triple H wasn't happy about the release as he got some plans for them, and VCAM broke all the plans. Yeah, so I heard that they don't give a shit about who people are married to, what kind of plans they had going on, and what they were doing. They got rid of them. I believe the reason is because they were getting paid too much, according to people that like I guess compared to other people in those positions. So like I guess everyone on 205 Live was getting paid too much as compared to like the other 3 people. Like I don't get it. I don't get it whatsoever. I don't know. Like, okay, to me, we'll talk about the other releases as soon as we get through this, but 205 Live, I've heard is a good show, and I've heard there's been a lot of matches on there, a lot of good matches, sorry, and I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true, but 205 Live was destined to fail, and the reason why is because they clearly didn't give a shit about that show at all whatsoever. Just because you give them a show and you run it on your network or whatever doesn't mean they actually care about the division, right? Mucho says Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy. Who won? Kenny Omega retained. Kenny Omega did. 205 Live was never really given the opportunity that it needed to survive. As soon as Pac, Neville was gone, as soon as Enzo was gone, that show was completely dead. The Cruiserweight division was completely dead. They never, so if you ever went to an episode of SmackDown, if you ever went to an episode of that live in person, they either have the 205 Live matches before the show goes on air, or they have them after the show goes off of the air, or maybe they'll do a mixture of both of them. So if they're doing them before, obviously there's not a lot of people in there. That's not what they came to see, so they're not like knowledgeable about the people on 205 Live. That's not what they came to see, so they're not hyped about it. Then, of course, it's the same thing, right? So the people that came to SmackDown, they're not interested in 205 Live. They don't care. They don't know who these people are. They don't advertise them on the show, really, or like hype them up or anything like that. So what they do is they have the main event. The show's over. They turn on the lights and they say, yo, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. We're going to have a couple of matches for 205 Live. We would love for you guys to stay by. And we're going to have AJ Styles in a dark match afterwards. Make sure you don't leave because AJ Styles is going to be here. You know, so they bait you into staying through these matches that you don't give a shit about so that you can see AJ Styles squash someone in 3 minutes or have a 4 or 5 minute match afterwards. So that was never going to work. That was never going to work. And the change was so easy. All you had to do was put 205 Live with NXT. And I'm not talking about merging the rosters or anything. Put the 205 Live show in Full Sail or the Capitol Wrestling Center, whatever the hell it is, whatever they're calling it. Put 205 Live in there and make it its own show. Why can't you do that? Like, I don't understand it. You would have people, it's such a small place that you could have people come in there. And I'm assuming that the NXT crowd would probably be into 205 Live as well. So you could probably be like, hey, we're going to run 205 Live and NXT. Come a little bit early and we'll have 205 Live or something like that. And then following it, we'll have NXT or something like that. But make it like, hey, you're coming to watch 205 Live. Get the people into it, and then everything will work just fine. Bribing people for an AJ Styles match is not the way that you promote your cruiserweight division. It was never going to work. I'm surprised that it's lasted as long as it has. Ashley says, I forgot Buddy Murphy was as well. Yeah, Murphy. Oh, man. Murphy's so incredible. Can't believe they released him. Van says, Mustafa Ali, Cedric, and Buddy still had 205 Live alive. Not to forget the no DQ match between Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy. See, but I never watched. I don't know any of that. I never watched 205 Live. They had, I think Buddy Murphy, that was on WrestleMania, I think. So I remember seeing that, but other than that, like Enzo was featured on Raw or SmackDown, and Neville, Pac now was featured on Raw or SmackDown, whatever shows they were. But like, aside from that, that was pretty much it. I feel like maybe I'm wrong because it was a long time ago, but I really feel like they didn't give them a chance. And I feel like if they really cared about the cruiserweight division, that they would have figured out something to make it work. Especially in the pandemic era, I feel like that would have worked even better, considering that Warrior says, funny you mentioned that Buddy dropped the title to Tony Nese at Mania. Oh, I had it backwards. I got it backwards. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just really feel like 205 Live never had a chance. I don't. And I wouldn't mind them merging it with NXT, which is what it seems like they're doing now. And I guess to carry on with that, Sean Rossat posted something about Diamond Mine, and he said that the original plan was to have Arturo Ruas be a part of Diamond Mine as well. He was actually supposed to be in that scene until like a day before or something like that, until he got released. Like, he was planned to be a part of that stable. And then Marina Shafir was also supposed to be a part of Diamond Mine as well. They weren't sure if she was supposed to be like an enforcer or what for them, but I don't know. It's just crazy how you can kind of have plans for these people and then just be like, no, we don't want you anymore. But then also, like, isn't Marina Shafir the one that is married to Roderick Strong? So like, it feels so weird to just release people like that, especially when they're married to other people on your roster. I don't know. Safa says, from what SRS reported, they will use bigger names in the cruiserweight division like Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Johnny Gargano. I can see that. And I mean, that will probably help elevate the cruiserweight division a little bit. But man, I don't know. That seems like a really weird division with all those guys in it. It feels really weird as that, especially because like a lot of the guys in NXT are smaller like that. So their whole entire main event scene is like cruiserweights. Vance says, remember Finn versus Roddy? Remember in the promo, Finn said that Roddy is just a follower and can never be a leader. And after losing to Finn, he decided to resign, and now he chose to create Diamond Mine. That's amazing. That is amazing. Warrior says, putting all those names in the division would leave the North American title scene and NXT title scene pretty empty. Or empty as hell. Yeah, it really would. That's a lot of people. And like, we're already in a spot where there's no one to really challenge for the NXT championship, in my opinion. Who's to step up to Cross? There's like no one there. So I don't know. A lot of wild stuff, a lot of wild decisions. So to go through these releases really quick here, because we're 30 minutes in. They released Tony Nese, which is crazy to me. Tony Nese blows me away. Arya Davari got released. I think he just came back, didn't he? I swear that I saw a post from WWE or something saying that he had returned. So that was kind of interesting as well. And then the one that hit me the hardest, Fandango. Like, what? And I was like, man, oh shit. I'm like, okay. If Fandango got released, god damn, does that mean that Tyler Breeze is going to be released? And I'm like, well, Tyler Breeze is lucky because he has up, up, down, down. So he's kind of thrown in the mix with that. So there's no way that they can get rid of Tyler Breeze. But I'm like, man, this really sucks for Fandango. Like, I love, like, someone in the comments was like, who the fuck cares about Fandango and Tyler Breeze? Like, who cares about Breezango? But like, I do. I love Breezango. I love both of them as wrestlers and as a tag team. Like, they're so entertaining. They're a lot of fun, and I was really excited when they got to go back to NXT. Everything was just a lot of fun. Like, they're very unique entrances for every single match that they had. They had a nice little run with the NXT Tag Team Championships, which made me extremely happy because I think these guys are very talented. Just it really sucks. It really sucks to see Fandango get released, and I'm not sure if he's going to continue to wrestle or what. But I wish him the best. And then this also didn't really make any sense because they had a feud with Imperium going on. Walter told the Imperium guys to beat them up, and they had a match, and Tyler Breeze and Fandango beat them. So like Breezango just secures a win over Imperium, and then where does the story go? They just dip out. I mean, I guess that they're just gonna like totally forget that happened. Like they're not gonna mention that whatsoever. I just thought that was really weird. And then next up, another really weird one was Everrise. Everrise has been featured on NXT for weeks. Like they've been on every single show for the longest time, and they weren't like putting on 5-star classics. They were mostly taking L's and stuff like that, but they were very entertaining. They had a feud going with Hit Row, and unlike Breezango, they actually had a match with Hit Row, and they lost to them, and that was their last appearance on NXT before they got released. But they had, from my knowledge, they had a pre-show for NXT. They had some sort of YouTube show or something like that. They had some sort of show for WWE. So it really, like, this one threw me for a loop because I thought they were entertaining. I think a lot of people thought that Everrise was really entertaining, and they had so many opportunities in the company that it really came out of left field to see them get released. I don't understand this one whatsoever. Ashton says, I guess Everrise could never rise. Sad face. I know, right? So sad. Latro says Everrise rules. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Next up, the other person that got released is August Gray. I'm not familiar with him. It appears that he is a 205 Live guy. I saw people saying nothing but great things about him. And this is when I started to kind of question the life of 205 Live. Like, is it dead? Are they canceling it? What is going to go on with 205 Live? Because we're eliminating a lot of the 205 Live roster right here. Next up, then we had like a little break. Oh, no, we didn't. The one that hurt us all. Tyler Breeze was released from WWE. The unthinkable. I didn't think there was any way that Tyler Breeze would get released from WWE because of his ties to Up, Up, Down, Down. And then he's just such a great wrestler as well. Like, Tyler Breeze has always been extremely underrated to me. When Tyler Breeze came back to NXT, the crowd went crazy. The crowd went crazy for Tyler Breeze. And it's just so weird, like the disconnect of what happens in WWE. And I don't know who's calling the shots. I don't know who's running these things by what. I don't know if Nick Khan is just running through a list and being like, hey, this guy gets paid too much. 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 I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I don't care how popular they are or what is going on. These guys they're just getting paid too much. And then I'm assuming he gives the list to Vince and he's like, yeah, cool, let's run it. And then they get the phone calls. It's so weird. It's so weird. And like, I mean, I don't know how their contracts are structured, so I don't know if this is like how it has to happen. But if you feel like someone is making too much money, I feel like it would be so much easier to just be like, hey, look, Breeze, we can't pay you $200,000 a year or whatever it is. Like, it's too much money. So realistically, for you to remain here in the company, we need to cut you down to 100,000 a year. That's what we'll pay you. It's just not worth it. It's not a good investment for us. That seems like such a better option than doing things this way. I mean, maybe they don't want to keep people. Maybe that's just the thing, and they're just like, I don't care, just get them out of here. But that's the weird thing, is that they signed back Samoa Joe. They released Samoa Joe, and then apparently Triple H was pissed off about it, and he ended up getting him back. But why he went back, I have no idea. It's so weird. And then, they released Aleister Black, and now they're trying to get him back as well, from what I understand. It just doesn't make any sense. Sava says, from Xavier Woods' post on Instagram, it looks like Breeze will remain on Up, Up, Down, Down. That'll be nice. I wonder how that'll work though, because to me, to my knowledge at least, I believe Up Up Down Down is a WWE owned thing. So, and I had always just assumed that doing those was a part of their contract, like they just got paid a set amount, and that's you know how it was. But I don't know how that'll work with Breeze, and I actually don't know the logistics of how people get paid for Up Up Down Down or anything like that. But like, I mean, I'm sure that Breeze probably has like a loyalty to the Up Up Down Down audience, or the left right audience, whatever you want to call his fan base. But like, man, part of me would be so fucking mad. Like, I would be so mad to get released from the company and still be a part of it in a way. Vance says, hey, I got something about Aleister Black. Do we need a drum roll? Here's a drum roll for you, if you can hear it. There you go. Asher says Samoa Joe took the Drake Maverick route of releases. And that's another thing that so I'll skip ahead a little bit. Killian Dane got released, and I said, oh no. They're not going to do it again, are they? Are they literally going to release Drake Maverick again? I was waiting for it. But Killian Dane was the last one that I saw. So thankfully Drake Maverick still has his job there. And he's a guy that is so incredibly talented that I don't know why they don't have anything for him other than that weird ass pairing with him and Killian Dane. He's like Malcolm Bivens. He's another guy that is so talented. He's so entertaining that I'm surprised it took them this long to find something great for him to do. But Diamond Mine is gold, and I think that is going to take off like crazy. Warrior says it's starting to look like Triple H is getting thrown to the side and Nick Khan is getting all the say. Triple H is getting caught off guard with everything these days. It seems like it. And it seemed like that press release that he did for NXT In Your House, Takeover In Your House. He was real sassy, real salty in that interview when he was like, "Oh, if you don't like it, don't watch it." Like, I wonder if he's just frustrated with all the bullshit. I wonder, like, it seems like communication is at a very, very low point in WWE just because there's so many people. And I understand that, like, as a company continues to grow, that there's more people there, right? Like, WWE is $1 billion company. So, of course, they have hundreds of people that they employ that do many different jobs and are gatekeepers for certain people so that there's some flow of authority in the company, so that like Vince isn't being bothered that you don't like chocolate cake in catering, like there's someone to talk to about that, or like someone that if you want to switch to pants or dye your hair or something, like Vince can't be bothered with stuff like that. But for some of these things, I feel like they really need to have better communication over releases. Like, hey, we're looking to release this guy. Do you guys have anything for him on Raw or SmackDown or on NXT? Because if not, we're just gonna kick him to the curb. And if everyone's like, no, we don't want him, or if Triple H is like, hey, look, if you guys don't want him on the main roster, I'll take him on NXT. And if you want, like, they consider that a downgrade. So if there needs to be any sort of pay structure change here, like, let's talk to them about it, right? Like, hey, we can't pay you $200,000 a year to be working on NXT. Like, realistically, we're looking at like 50 or 75,000 a year. Like, you could take it or leave it. Like, stuff like that. And creative as well. There shouldn't be so many crazy creative processes that people have to go through. This was one of the things that I talked about, I think, a couple weeks ago when the MLW owner did an interview, and he said that he used to work on WWE creative, and he said it was always an issue with creative because you were writing for an audience of one, and it was just not Triple H, it was just Vince McMahon. So like, if he liked it, then cool, then other people would get involved. So he said that they would write something, and then they'd be told by someone, say, hey, you can't push this guy. And they would say, he said that they never told them why they couldn't push certain people. So they weren't sure if it was just that they had heat with Vince, or if it was some sort of contract deal, or if it was just something else. But he said, when people tell you that creative has nothing for you, it's just a crock of shit, because we have creative plans for everyone. They just won't let us do them. And then he says, so we submit, a creative plan to Vince. He likes it. And then all of the people around him, they like tweak it, they figure it out, they fine tune it, they make it better, quote unquote. And then by the time it gets back to them and hits production, they said that it's not even really what they had pitched and what they had planned for creative. It's just something completely different. And that's not how that should be. It should not be that convoluted. Like, you should have a creative team. Like, you should have a creative team for Raw. And then you have one person that they answer to. This guy is in charge of Raw creative. And they say, yo, we want to do this. And he says, yes, that is great. Let's go. That is it. That's how it works. And then when it plays out on TV and it's not, it doesn't work, that man gets in trouble. If it's great, that man gets praise. SmackDown, same deal. Group of people. It could be the same group, a different group, whatever. I don't care. There should be a group of people answering to one person, and then that one person should be making the calls. It makes so much more sense to me. So much more sense. Safa says it took NXT so long to make their tag division better after the main roster rated their tag teams, but now they just released 3 NXT tag teams. It's crazy. It's crazy. Obi James says the last set of releases killed the women's tag team division. Now they killed 205 Live with this set of releases. They really did. They really killed 205 Live. Van says Aleister Black is a type of guy who wants everything perfect, right? Like the same color that his opponent would wear would be the same color of his background and his eye when he returned to SmackDown. Okay, hear you out. Okay, I'm listening. Ashley says Triple H is probably strangling Vince McMahon in his mind. I know, right? Like, why are you ruining my show? Trevor says it's just so weird to me. There were sources, Papa H saying he wanted to have more focus on the tag and cruiserweight division of NXT, and then the releases happened. So, like someone else was saying, maybe it's just bigger names. Maybe they want to use Johnny Gargano and Pete Dunne and stuff like that in their cruiserweight division. But I don't know. Sean Ross Sapp he said that this would have a big effect on WWE in 6 to 7 months. And I'm not sure what that means, but when he posts it, he said that he has to be vague about it. So when he ends up posting it, I will certainly let you guys know. Van says, look at Aleister Black's Insta. He posted something with the caption TDMMDI, which means the devil made me do it. And he got a picture of a video recording, which the time is 9:08. 9:08 is September 8th. September 8th is Dynamite after All Out. And you know what happens after Dynamite after a pay-per-view usually debut. God damn. That's crazy. Vance, you're a goddamn detective, my friend. That's amazing. I can appreciate that. I love that. I love like hiding shit in content. So that is great. That is great. And I really would not be surprised if he heads there. I'm pretty sure Dave Meltzer said that he is AEW bound. And like I said, it's the best place for him to be. They're about to open up another show as well. That is in August, so that's not too far away. Not too far away. Ashton says Cesaro is a good example of that. Apparently, he never got a push because somebody on creative didn't like him. Something about him being entertaining while he's supposed to be a heel. Yes. Yeah, that is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my entire life. That was the whole thing where they said Cesaro's moveset was too cool. He's a heel. Cesaro's moveset is too cool. He cannot be pushed because he has a cool moveset. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, compare that to Baron Corbin as well, who is another person that has another great moveset. A lot of people praise a lot of moves that Baron Corbin does. When he gets thrown into the corner where he slides out, baseball slides out and then slides back in and attacks them, that gets praised a lot. Deep Six gets praised a lot. And End of Days gets praised a lot. It's one of the most protected finishers in WWE and all of wrestling, I think, aside from the One-Winged Angel. So Baron Corbin has a cool moveset, yet he's a heel and he's pushed all of the time. Why can't you do the same for Cesaro? Like, I don't know. It's just so childish to me. It seems like a lot of the issues stem from something so childish. It's so annoying. Asha says, AEW headquarters thanks you for your detective work. Yes, sir, we do. Van says, I'm sorry. It's not me. I read a tweet about it. Sorry, guys, but I still guess I'm the only one who read that tweet. Yeah, hey. You are the bearer of the news, so I consider you a detective for that. That shit's great. Sava says, now Vince wants Bronson Reed, especially now that he's being pushed by NXT. Yeah. Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed, Shotzi Blackheart, and Scarlett. all doing dark matches for the main roster. And I don't think this is something that I talked about. I may or may not have talked about this for NXT. They had Karrion Kross fight Shelton Benjamin, and they they didn't have him come out with anything special. So Scarlett wasn't with him. They didn't even turn off the lights. They gave him no fog, no nothing. So they gave him like generic wrestler 03 entrance, and man, it looked so bad. So bad. Mostly because like Karrion Kross, like his entrance isn't even mostly him. It's like 80% Charlotte. It's 80% Scarlett. And then he's just kind of in the background chilling until like the music hits really hard and the black and white goes away. And then you see him. So like it was really weird just to see him walk out, just plain daylight. Like, okay, whatever. But back to the releases here. So Marina Shafir got released. We kind of talked about that one as well. Arturo Ruas and Curtis Stallion all were released as well. And the Bollywood Boys, the Singh brothers, were released as well. Like they literally killed 205 Live. It's crazy. It's crazy. Obi James says, let's just relax. He's not called up yet. I would actually prefer that Karrion Kross gets called up. That would be my preference. I would prefer that he goes to Raw instead of being in NXT. I don't think that Karrion Kross fits in NXT at all. I just don't think he does. I said from the beginning, when Karrion Kross won that NXT championship and then got injured and had to relinquish it, he should have been done. He should have been done in NXT. He should have never came back. He should have debuted on Raw after that. They don't need him on NXT. They don't need him. He just doesn't fit. He beat their entire list of competitors for the title, and now there's no one. And I really don't think we're going to get Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross. And even if we do, it'll be a cool event, and everyone will be very excited for it. But after it, we're in the same predicament. Lever says Adam Cole was right. If you take away the smoke and mirrors, Karrion Kross is just a regular dude. Yeah. Yes. And I think that's why everyone was like, damn, like that's a burn, because it's true. It's true. So I don't know. Lots of crazy stuff going down in WWE. Like I really don't understand where they're going with certain things. Like I just don't get it. Kross can be in the upcoming draft. Yeah, I would. So for me, I would prefer that Karrion Kross just vacates the championship and says, look, I've dominated everyone here in NXT. There's nothing left for me to do, so I'm out. And that's it. And then they try to just build him up on Raw or SmackDown. Not that they're good at doing it, but they need to keep him away from a title for a while and have him, eventually win it. Ash says, I have no hope for NXT call-ups anymore. Ever since Keith Lee. It's rough, man. It's rough. It is really, really rough. But I don't know. Hopefully they'll do better. I'm not holding out for WWE doing better, but maybe when fans come back, they actually will change up their shit. Because it's going to be brutal. It's going to be really brutal if they continue to do the things that they do in front of fans. They're going to hijack that show so fast. It's going to be a nightmare. Trevor says, I saw where Fightful Select said Nick Khan made most of the decisions on the cuts, and they were wrestlers they heard would be released who weren't, and wrestlers they didn't hear about who were. Yeah, I heard about that as well. It's an interesting thing. Like, I understand that Nick Khan is a businessman, but I'm not quite sure what I don't know. I just don't quite understand where this is going. I don't. Van says, now look at the second post. It shows blood, torture, like a psychopath. And you remember his tweet about Moxley. Now you know what I mean. Moxley and Tommy End, that'd be great. I would love to see that. Sub says, by the way, what do you think about MSK versus Champion Thatcher? I hope Champion Thatcher wins. That's me. Sub says, Riddle's the only one who has been treated decent on the main roster. Yeah, and I think that's just because Riddle is one of those guys that can make it work. I think Johnny Gargano is another one of those guys as well. Johnny Gargano is a lot of sports entertainment. I think he could fit in that role. And that's the same with Matt Riddle. Like, Matt Riddle and Johnny Gargano, they're the best of both worlds, right? Like, they're really, really good wrestlers, but they're also very entertaining, and they're very sports entertaining. So I think both of those guys would be able to fit on there just fine. And with Matt Riddle kind of proving that, aside from them being like doing like the whole bro thing a little bit too much, I think it's worked. Where he says crossing the main roster would feel weird in my opinion. His act works in NXT because he's facing smaller guys, but on Raw or SmackDown, I don't see him dominating guys like Lashley, Drew, Cesaro, or Big E. That's true. That's true. They do get a little bit bigger up there. They do, but he's got to head there eventually, and I don't see him being able to do much more in NXT. They kind of blew through everyone really fast. I mean, I guess they could do those individual matches that they wanted with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole and Pete Dunne and drag them out as long as they can. I guess they could do something like that, but for me, I just move them on. That's what I think. Just move them on. Ashley says, I don't hate WWE. I honestly feel sorry for them. Yeah, I don't hate them either, but I just think that they're in a bad place right now. And, you know, it happens. Everyone has their ups and downs. And it seems like they just don't give a shit. Maybe it's just because fans aren't there, but to me, it just doesn't make sense to me, because even when you have fans in attendance, you know, like let's say what an average episode of Raw or SmackDown would probably have somewhere between 12 to 15,000 people in attendance for it, somewhere around there. We'll just say 12,000 people in attendance. Why are those 12,000 people more important than the 1.6 to 2 million people that are watching at home? Those people aren't valuable. I'm not valuable because I'm not at every single arena. Like, I don't know. That whole thing has just not made sense to me. Like, if you got rid of TV viewership and you just had the fans in attendance, they couldn't survive off of that. So why is it that when they're not there, the whole idea is that just like, well, there's no fans there, so they don't care. There may not be fans in attendance, but you have nearly 2 million people watching you at home twice a week. So, like, what do you mean there's no fans? Like, there's fans. These are the people that you need to please. Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. Leroy says, I hate when people say that Johnny Gargano is going to be squashed if he gets called up. Man, I don't know. I don't have faith in NXT call-ups anymore. Those waves of NXT people getting called up, like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Big E and stuff, like, those days are over. The current NXT call-ups just haven't been very great. Hopefully that changes, though. That's all it takes, right? Like a snap of a finger. That's all it takes. The shows could be great. You could watch Monday Night Raw next week and it could be the best show in the world. So hopefully, you know, I don't know. We'll just kind of wait and see. Maybe they'll get their act together. Vance says, don't forget 4 million people who wake up at 5:30 in India. Yeah, it's crazy. Wonder where Daniel Bryan is? Oh, man, me too. Me too, man. I need some Daniel Bryan. I wonder what he's going to do. I wonder if he has a deal worked up with someone. Very interested to see. All right. 52 minutes. I think we're good on the WWE releases here. Let's go ahead and start talking about AEW Dynamite. This is one of my favorite shows that I remember from the whole NBA playoff era bullshit that we've had to go through right now. I really liked this show. And I think we got to see a lot of great things from people, from up and coming people, if you will. I think a lot of those people shined tonight. And I think some exciting stuff is really, really, really on the way. Slava says they mentioned Daniel Bryan like 5 times yesterday on SmackDown. Well, I heard they mentioned Braun Strowman too, didn't they? Something like that. Okay, so tonight's special episode of Saturday Night Dynamite opened up with Sammy Guevara doing an interview with Alex Marvez, I believe, very briefly outside, and he was attacked by Shawn Spears with a chair. That's what we were greeted with when the show started. The first match of the night was Hangman Adam Page taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. And let me see here. Powerhouse Hobbs is 10-1 for his 2021 singles records, and Hangman Adam Page is 15-1. Adam Page ranked number 2. Powerhouse Hobbs ranked number 4. So this is kind of interesting. They, you know, Hangman and Kenny Omega have to collide here soon. I don't know if it's going to be at Full Gear. I don't know if they're going to blow it off until All Out. I don't know how they're going to manage it, but Hangman Adam Page got a win here from Powerhouse Hobbs, and this was a really good match. And the crowd still, like, Hangman Adam Page is crazy over still with the crowd. I'm so happy about it because I'm a firm believer that Hangman Adam Page is the next AEW World Champion. Firm believer. Page is now number 1. Who did he take over? I think they have it on their website. I'll see. Trevin says it would literally take me 2 business months to process them releasing Cameron Grimes. Oh, God, that would be insane to do something like that. Rankings as of Wednesday. Let's see. Oh, Jungle Boy. Yeah, so he's number 1 now. Duh. Duh. Of course it was Jungle Boy. Duh. So yeah, now we got to figure out what's going on. But anyways, there was something that I wanted to talk about in this match. That spine buster from Powerhouse Hobbs was just, mwah. Oh my God, it was so good. So good. So Ricky Starks and Hook come out with the FTW Championship. They're going to have Hobbs hit Adam Page with it, but Brian Cage comes out, grabs Starks, takes off his jacket, grabs the championship, and runs off, and they leave with him. Hangman Adam Page is on the outside, ready to go for the buckshot lariat. Powerhouse Hobbs turns around, catches him, and hits him with the biggest spine buster I have ever seen in my entire life. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I loved it. That was a big, huge moment for me in this match. I thought it was great. Hangman ends up hitting the Deadeye on him and getting the win that way. Head busted open as well. He was bleeding from the back of his head. But man, it's just makes me so happy to see Hangman is still over. And him getting the beers afterwards, the seltzer after, whatever it is that he's drinking, makes me happy as well. I just love it. Obi James says Hangman is a great choice for the next champ. He really is. He really, really is. And I can't wait to see it. I hope that I don't really want to travel again, but man, I really want to be in the building when Hangman is winning the championship. So, oh, but God, I'd also be pissed if he didn't win. There's no direct flights to St. Louis, so I hope that they don't do it there. There is one to Chicago, so I don't know. I might have to go to Full Gear. I might have to go to All Out or something like that because I need to be there. I need to be there for this. Ashley says Powerhouse Hobbs reminds me of what Big E was when he first came along, the enforcer bodyguard for Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee. Yeah, that's true. Hangman Adam Page gets a hangnail. Oh, life over, man. Warrior says Hangman keeps busting himself open the hard way, but it always looks cool because he's Hangman. Yeah. As I wasn't sure if he was bleeding or not because like I could see the red spot in his hair, but it didn't seem like it was going in his hands or getting on anything. So I wasn't sure if it was just the sun there or what, because the way the Daily's place is set up, it kind of sucks when you're in there. So we were on the front row, like literally right front row with the entrance ramp. And so behind the hard cam, I guess the hard cam was in the middle this time, but if you're looking at the ring and then you're looking at the stage that had the crowd in it and then the Titantron, that side to the right of it is completely open. It's just, there's nothing there. There's no walls. There's nothing. So it's just the sky. And that is literally where the sun sets. So during the time that Dynamite is on, like at the very beginning of it, the sun is just blaring down on that side. So I figured maybe it was just us from the sun or something, but nope. He was bleeding. And I'm not sure at what part it happened at either. Safa says, are you planning to go to SummerSlam or Money in the Bank? No, I don't plan on going to either one of those. Big E is probably winning Money in the Bank. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. That would be great. Where he says, I honestly thought he dyed his hair for some reason. I had missed the movement. He hit his head. Yeah, me too. I didn't quite understand. I was like, is he bleeding? Is he bleeding? Van says Kenny loves long-term storytelling. Hangman will win it. I wonder if he will kick out of the one-winged angel. He wasn't able to beat the machine, Brian Cage, clean. I think that Hangman's going to beat Kenny, and I think Hangman's going to be the one to kick out of the one-winged angel. 100%. I've been saying it. I literally think I've been saying it even before Kenny Omega won the championship, because I think it was clear that he was going to win it from Jon Moxley as well. That path of champions was very clear. Very clear. It was very clear that Kenny was going to be the one to dethrone Jon Moxley. And to me, I think it's very clear that Hangman is going to dethrone Kenny Omega. After that, I'm not too sure. A lot of people say maybe MJF will be up there. I don't know. I have absolutely no clue. There's a lot of there's a lot of really good potential people that could take the the championship off of Hangman when that time comes. Just not necessarily sure who. Lewer says, so this upcoming Wednesday will be the last Dynamite to take place at Daly's place. Yeah, but they're coming back in like August, which is weird, which is very weird to me. Sava says Kota Ibushi has kicked out of the One Winged Angel, but they don't mention it, right? I think there's some sort of asterisk on that, or maybe they just pretend like that doesn't exist. Warrior says MJF or Miro should dethrone Hangman. So now Andrade's in the mix as well. Andrade's facing Kenny Omega at Triple Mania for the Triple Mega Championship, whatever the hell it's called. So maybe Andrade will be up in that main event scene. Miro is one of them. If Tommy End is going to be debuting on Dynamite, that's another option as well. Like, there's a lot of players that could fit into this. MJF, of course, one of them as well. A lot of people want Pac to be one. Van says Don Callis said the only one person that's kicked out of the One Winged Angel. Okay, so they are acknowledging it. Okay. Ashley says Christian Cage is sort of in the title scene. Yeah, but with Kenny, I don't think that he would still be in it with Hangman. I don't know though. I think it's only a matter of time before Christian gets a shot at the championship. Jay says, do you think they'll sanction the FTW championship? I don't know. They might when Rampage rolls around. They might. Where he says, I still think Andrade is winning the AAA title and showcasing it more to work with him, not getting the AEW title. I think that's a great idea to keep him away. I do. Because, like, they're going to have an issue. They're really going to have an issue. Well, it'll be more telling when Rampage debuts and the booking, like, there's a lot of big players that they're going to have to book for these shows. And there's a lot of people who seem to think that if someone doesn't go somewhere and instantly win a world championship, they've been buried. Like, that's been going on with Miro for so long until he won the TNT championship. And even when he did win it, a lot of people were still like, oh, well, you know, now he didn't do anything to earn this TNT championship, even though throughout that entire thing with the Kip Sabian and Best Friends, he was undefeated. And he was still like a beast in the ring. It's just that he was joking around and playing video games on the outside. But he was still beastly in the ring, still undefeated in the ring. The only match that he's lost is that arcade match, Arcade Anarchy, if I remember. And that was because Kip Sabian lost it. So he's been booked strong, but it'll be, I don't know, like booking Miro, booking Kenny Omega, Page, Mox, Andrade, Tommy End if he's there as well. I don't know. Gotta be difficult. Sava says Darby Allin is probably not going to go back to the TNT title scene. So he's going to be in the AEW championship scene now too. Darby Allin's another good one. Darby Allin. Certainly a future AEW world champion. I think Darby and Jungle Boy are, and MJF, I'll throw him in there as well. I think that those guys will definitely be AEW world champions at some point. They're so popular. Sammy Guevara is another one. I think he'll be world champion someday as well on the company. Let's see here. So next up, we had a little face-to-face chat here with Tully Blanchard representing FTR and the legendary Conan representing Pride and Powerful, aka Santana and Ortiz. And this was great. Man, Conan woke up today. This man chose violence. He was taking all sorts of crazy shots at Tully and FTR tonight. It was incredible. I have one of them. He says, I know you're from North Carolina, where the men are men and the sheep are scared. Which is it caught me completely off guard. I'm like, wait a minute. Is he implying what I think that he is implying? Because that's wild. That's wild as hell. He also said something about him being employed by Walmart and being a greeter or something like that. So it looks like he's going to be representing Santana and Ortiz, which is cool. Like I like that. I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't necessarily think that Santana or Ortiz need to break out of the inner circle, but I think that they need to start being a staple in the tag team division because Santana and Ortiz are incredible. And if I'm Booker, man, I'm probably giving the tag championships to them next. To them. Warrior says this segment was gold. Really sold me on Pride and Powerful versus FTR. Yeah, and the video package from last week, that was great as well. Like, AEW is pretty good at hyping up these big matches. So I'm very interested in seeing this one. And like, I don't know, I guess it's still kind of weird like to see this entire like Inner Circle and Pinnacle feud thing, because I feel like it's ass backwards. You know, like we started this feud with Blood and Guts, then we went to Stadium Stampede, and now we're sort of like reverting back to these singles matches. And I don't know, it just seems so weird, and I'm not sure what the end goal is. Like, can they even be 50-50 booked to win their matches? I don't think so. Jake Hager got the first win for the Inner Circle over the Pinnacle. So then we have this tag match. Then we're going to have MJF versus Sammy Guevara, which is a weird match, I think, as well, because I really think that MJF needs to win that match. But on the same thing, like, Sammy Guevara needs to win that match as well. I don't know. It really feels like MJF should be paired with Jericho. So does this mean that Jericho is going to take on Shawn Spears instead? And if Sammy Guevara beats, I mean, there's obviously going to be a Chris Jericho and MJF blow-off match, right? They're the leaders of the factions. So, like, if Sammy Guevara beats MJF, how does that lead to a Chris Jericho MJF match? So it really feels like MJF has to beat Sammy Guevara so that they can get that match, but then Sammy Guevara is taking an L, and then what? They're just going to have Sammy beat Shawn Spears? I don't know. I'm confused. Van says, you need to learn Spanish if you want to communicate with his grandkids. Yes, that was another Flames one as well. Warrior says, the swerve with FTR dressing up as Pride and Powerful was fantastic. Yeah, I was really excited for that because I was like, when they came out, I'm like, that is not the skin color of Santana and Ortiz. That is not Santana and Ortiz. And I was like, man, someone's going to debut. They're bringing in two people. Who is it? And then as soon as they got behind him, I was like, oh, that's Cash and Dax. But yeah, that was a great spot. Even while you're talking about it, it sounds confusing. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Jay says Jericho could really help put a spotlight on Spears if they're switching it up. But I think Jericho has put a spotlight on the Inner Circle. I really think he has. Like, I went to the first Double or Nothing in Vegas. And I stayed at the MGM, which was no, I didn't stay at the MGM. The MGM was where that happened. I stayed on the oh god, I can't remember where it was, but it was connected. There was just like this little tiny bridge that was connected. And on that bridge from our hotel to the MGM, Sammy Guevara was out there and he was just hanging out. And I knew who he was, obviously because of the event, and he was in the Casino Battle Royal, if I remember correctly, or just on the pre-show or something. But there was no one around Sammy Guevara. It was like him and his girlfriend. They were just like standing out there, taking pictures, just kind of hanging out. Not a single person walked up to them. And now, if he did that now, I think tons of people would be around him. I think a lot of people would know who he was and stuff. So I think that Jericho has done a really good job of bringing awareness to Sammy Guevara especially, but Pride and Powerful as well, I think. Even though they were very popular with the whole LAX thing and Impact, but I think it helped bring a new audience to them as well. Jay says, seems like Spears might be the only one with not as much spotlight as a singles competitor throughout the whole thing. Everyone else has been elevated. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, Wardlow did lose his match as well against Jake Hager. I think Wardlow is going to be a future star in that company or elsewhere, I guess. At some point, I think only time will tell, but I think that's going to happen. But I don't know. I just don't know where this feud goes. I don't know what the end story is. maybe a huge match at All Out or Full Gear or something. I have no idea. I have no idea. Safa says, I gotta be honest, I'm done with the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. More interested in FTR and Pride and Powerful. Yeah, me too. Like, and that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like they did the feud backwards. Like, we should have been doing these things first, because this is like the, you know, the things that ease up into those matches. We've already seen Blood and Guts. Like, to me, Blood and Guts is a feud ending match. And then Stadium Stampede, another feud ending match. So it's just, I don't know, it's just so weird. Obi James says Sammy is legit one of the biggest baby faces in AEW, but he will never be as big as babyface than Riker. Oh God. Oh God. He is super over. Sammy Guevara is super over. Man, people were going crazy for him when I was there in Jacksonville, and the crowd went crazy for him tonight on TV. You love to see it. You love to see it. But so yeah, after this, when we're talking about FTR sneaking in behind Conan, he actually thought that was supposed to be Santana and Ortiz, but totally in FTR, they're 4,000 IQ, they're geniuses. So they ended up attacking Santana and Ortiz backstage and dressing up like them. And so they attacked Conan from behind. They set him up for a spike pile driver. Man, how old is Conan? Conan is 57 years old, man. 57 years old. And he took a spike pile driver from FTR. Very impressive. Very impressive. I'm happy to see him with Santana and Ortiz as well. I'm hyped for this match. I can't wait to see it. Is it next week or in 2 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now or something like that. But I'm very excited for this match. They've done a really good job hyping it up. Van says, why is AEW beating up old guys? I don't know. They've done that a lot lately. They've done that a lot. Sava says, I'd honestly make a homegrown talent like MJF and Darby Allin world champion first rather than guys like Tommy or Andrade. It's possible, but you know, the familiarity of people really helps. And I think that one of the big reasons why AEW did so well is because of Chris Jericho putting the title on him. People flipping through their channels, and seeing him on the TV, seeing him as the champion, I think sparked a lot of interest from a lot of people. And, you know, there's a lot of people, obviously, because ratings are down, there's a lot of people that have stopped watching wrestling. So, you know, maybe a lot of those people, they liked the Attitude Era or they liked the Ruthless Aggression Era, and they're just like, you know what, this isn't doing it for me anymore, so I'm going to tune out. But then they're flipping through their channel, and then they say, like, hey, wait a minute. Isn't that that guy, that Chris Jericho? This isn't WWE. Like, what the hell is this? And then they tune in and watch. I think that helped a lot. So having guys like Jericho, Andrade, Black, even like Kenny and stuff too, like I think that those are great. Sava says, but Darby and MJF are extremely over, maybe even more over than Andrade. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say that. Yeah, they probably are. Van says John Moxley was the reason I started watching AEW. I missed Dean a lot. Yeah, how could I even forget that? Yeah, John Moxley, of course, another huge name. Like these are, it just made so much sense. Like the AEW World Championship scene made so much sense. Chris Jericho, the first one, like, yes, that makes so much sense to me. Chris Jericho, he's the biggest star that you have in terms of popularity and reach. So yes, that makes a lot of sense. In comes John Moxley. Yes, it makes a lot of sense. You could have gone with Kenny Omega then, but I feel like that would have been too soon. So Mox, great, perfect. Especially after coming off of that WWE return, a lot of buzz from that, and then, you know, that kind of fiddled away. But man, his release and then him showing up at Double or Nothing, that was incredible. Incredible. And now you have Kenny Omega, which makes a lot of sense. And then after Kenny, we're going with Hangman Adam Page, who is, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I would call Adam Page a homegrown from AEW, since he was in New Japan and he was in Bullet Club in New Japan. But like, I don't feel like Hangman was nearly as popular as he was before. Like, he's so popular now. I knew about him. I was familiar with Hangman Adam Page, and even in like All Out, And I think BTE helped Hangman a lot. A lot. Like, I think that is when I started getting into Hangman. Like, when he had the whole talking boots thing and he murdered Joey Ryan and he was like the Joey killer and all that stuff at All In, I really feel like that helped elevate him a little bit and make him more interesting. So he's really like the next, if you want to call him a homegrown from AEW, he's the perfect one to do it. Perfect. And because more so, like, too, is that he has a lot of story with Hangman, or sorry, with Kenny. Hangman is like directly tied to Kenny Omega, with Bullet Club and with the Elite and with BCE and with the tag team championships. Like, there's a lot of stuff there for Hangman and Kenny. So the long-term storytelling from that just makes a lot of sense, as opposed to it being like Jungle Boy or Darby Allin. Jay says, if not Hangman, then who? If you were Booker Man with Plan B. I don't know. Maybe Sammy Guevara. If I was forced to not put it on Hangman, maybe Sammy Guevara or Darby. Maybe. But you would have to build towards it. You'd have to build towards it. I'm not necessarily sure that people are ready for it. I think Hangman, I think that where he's at right now, I think he's ready to be the face of the company, the world champion. I'm not necessarily sure I know if that's the case for... No, I think Sammy and Darby could be... Sammy, Darby, MJF, I think all those guys would be ready for it. Papa says, if I was Booker Man, John Silver would have all the titles. John Silver is great. He's so good. Van says, I heard that AEW is just a few months away from coming in India. That is the first country they are focusing on when it comes to international viewing. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love to hear them expand. That's great. So next up, we had ourselves a match between Dante Martin and Matt Sydal, but Dante Martin made his entrance, and then Vicky Guerrero came out before Matt Sydal could come out, and she introduced Andrade. His music was kind of quiet. I couldn't really hear it that much, so can't really speak on that, but he does have music now. Came out in his suit, as always. Showed his little El Idolo, stitching the out on the inside of a custom suit, which is great to see. And then he was getting ready to announce their surprise. Because if you remember last week, he said that him and Vicky have a nice little surprise. So he goes to announce it, and out comes Matt Sydal, interrupts him. Andrade points over to Matt Sydal and like, can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy just interrupted me? And Vicky kind of holds him back and is like, hey, it's not worth it. So Matt Sydal comes to the ring, and then we get this match between Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. And this match was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Vance says WWE released the viewership for WrestleMania 33, which was 89 million. That's crazy. So obviously a lot of old people getting beaten up nowadays. Ted DiBiase, Dean Malenko, and now Conan. Yep. It's crazy, isn't it? But this match was great. And I think this match helped show a lot of people to Dante Martin. If they're not familiar with him, he's been on AEW Dynamite a couple of times now, but he was in a tag team with his brother Darius Martin. They are Top Flight, and they're so good. He's only 20 years old. Look at the performance that he put on for the show against Matt Sydal. Absolutely incredible. And this is always what I talk about elevating people. Do they have this match up on Cage Match? I want to actually see how long this match was, because I'm not sure. Dynamite, it is up here. The match times aren't up. So I can't go off those. But it seemed like a pretty decent length. Oh, I guess I can. Oh no, it only says 2 hours. Doesn't give an actual time. It was a great match though, and I think this is the way that you help elevate people. Him and Matt Sydal put on a great match. Dante Martin put out a lot of great moves. Like, Safa says, I think it was 13 minutes. So that's a great length for a match to showcase your abilities, and I think he really did that tonight. I think he really stood out, and he's one of those people on Dark that stands out a lot. But getting to shine on Dynamite is very important, and I'm also glad that they're using him while his brother is injured. as well. It's great. And this is a picture perfect way of how a loss isn't always bad for you. Yes, a loss is a loss, but this was not a bad loss for Dante Martin. This was great. This was a nice win for Matt Sydal, and this was a great way for Dante Martin to showcase his talent. Says Andrade comes out in a very badass way. He comes in a proper suit and just shows why he's the best. Yep. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see Andrade wrestle. It seems like it might be against Matt Sydal because of all of this stuff, but I'm so excited for the future of AEW, and I'm so excited for the future of wrestling as a whole because so many people have been released this year within the past couple months, and we haven't even seen the last wave of people that got released to show up yet. So it's going to be very exciting. It will be very exciting. Someone says, did you know Ethan Page will be the nail in Darby Allin's coffin? I had no idea. I had no idea. Next up was another brawl between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. This just goes. I don't really want to talk about this because we talked about it enough. When we talked about them, this is the match between Sammy Guevara and MJF. I have no idea what to expect out of this, so I guess we'll just see when that comes. Next up, we had a backstage promo here from Miro, and this was incredible. The guy has improved so much on the mic, and it works. This whole God's favorite champion thing that he is doing is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I love that more importantly, the thing that I like about Miro is that they let him be himself. And you can see that he jokes. But then he's also a very dominant champion, and he will literally just kill you. So he says, God, I can't remember the first line that he said, but he said, I want to thank God for something. And then he said, and for making my wife flexible. I love that. I love that so much. It's great. And then he's like, look. Oh, Vance says, did he say, I thank God for making me powerful and my wife flexible? Yes. It's so good. It's so good. I love that. Like, I just love that they let him be him. It's so important that people don't sound like a robot and that, like, these are his words. I think that's very important, and I think it's helped him a lot get to the position where he's in now, because this Miro right here is perfect. It's perfect. He's by himself. He's cutting his own promos. He's killing it. He's a champion, and he's dominant. What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? Very excited. Very excited for that. Next up, we had a match between Ethan Page and this was Bear Bronson from Bear Country. This was a good match as well. And Ethan Page hit him in the little bears when he was on the top rope and hit him with an Ego's Edge to secure the win. This was another good match. Another person in a tag team that I hear a lot about. I hear a lot of great things about Bear Country. I'm not very familiar with them because I do not watch Dark or Dark Elevation. But, man, I've heard nothing but great things about these guys. And he put on a great match against Ethan Page tonight. Someone says, I hope AEW gets Aiden English so we can get Miro Day. I would assume that those days are past us now. I don't think that we will see anything like that ever again, especially with Aiden English. I don't think. Where Miro is right now, I think is perfect. If I had to guess, he probably wants to set that behind him. But I love it. Love it. So, yeah, Ethan Page gets the win over Bear Bronson. Afterwards, he grabs a mic and says that he's not done with Darby Allin just yet. And he said that he wants to be the nail in his coffin. And I believe it was Sava that said that he said it 4 times. The end promo was very weird. It was very weird. Van says Chris Jericho just realized his WWF debut match was the 1000th of his career. That's crazy. You know, since you mentioned that, we actually got the list of Jericho book in the mail today, so I'm going to take a look at it. It's a list of every single match he's ever had, how many people were in attendance, and how much he got paid for it. So, interested in taking a look at that. How's it going, Cornelius? How you doing, my friend? Gyro says Miro Days will be the next national holiday. I still have my Rusev Day calendar from like 2018. It's so great. Van says, yeah, it was weird. He felt like a robot. Yeah, it was very off. Safa says, I'm just here to remind you that Ethan Page will be the nail in Darby Allin's coffin. Glad you're doing good, Cornelius. Glad you're doing good. So yeah, Ethan Page says he's going to be the nail in Darby Allin's coffin, and then proceeds to challenge him to a coffin match. Hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. It's kind of weird hearing it be called a coffin match instead of a casket match, but man, this will be great. This will be a lot of fun. I think this fits Darby Allin's character a lot. This could even be Darby's specialty match, you know? So I'm really looking forward to this. I really am. Of course, I think that Darby's going to get the win, but I don't know what's next for Darby after this. I still am like, I'm still torn. I feel like there's going to be a story that is between Sting and Darby. I feel like one of them's going to turn on the other one. I don't know. Maybe that's just like my sick way of thinking that everyone just is eventually going to fight each other. I don't know. I don't know, but it just feels like that's bound to happen. And I'm going to mention that again a little bit later when we get later into the show, because I feel that way about something else as well. I don't know. It just seems inevitable. It really does. Cornelia says, so with Jungle Boy losing, who else you taking the title off of Kenny? Hangman Adam Page. 100%, without a doubt. The time that Kenny has to defend against Hangman Adam Page, he's winning. He's winning. I would put ungodly amounts of money on that bet. Fickle says, Money in the Bank card is looking flame so far, in my opinion. Money in the Bank cards and pay-per-views never disappoint. Money in the Bank is always exciting, and I think with some of the people that they're putting in there, I think it should be great. It should be much better than the kind of shitty pay-per-view that they gave us last time. A Hell in a Cell wasn't that great. Safa says, do you mean Christian turning on Jungle Boy? Yes, I do. Where says Darby has to be the Undertaker of the coffin matches. Yes. And I mean, it just fits with his creepy ass character so much. It would be a really cool specialty match. And I like how they're kind of exploring specialty matches here. You know, we've had that the strap match recently. We had we're gonna have this coffin match. We had that weird MMA fight specialty match. Like a lot of interesting things here. Next up was another backstage kind of promo thing. We had Britt Baker and Reba/Rebel cutting a promo here on Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose. And I'm gonna tell you again, because I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm telling you, this is gonna happen. All right. I was right. I was kind of right about Andrade showing up in AEW. I was a week off, okay? Because I thought that he was going to debut at Double or Nothing, but he debuted at the episode afterwards, so it's okay. Whatever. So, Vicky Guerrero and Andrade. She's working with Andrade. Vicky Guerrero is also working with Nyla Rose. We have not seen any sort of connection between Nyla Rose and Andrade yet. Which, I mean, I guess is fine because we haven't really seen much of them. So we have this tag match. Britt Baker, and this is next. This is on Wednesday. This is coming up on Wednesday. Britt Baker and Reba Rebel, whatever her real name is, taking on Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. I gotta tell you, this started the second Andrade said they got a surprise. I say, you know what? It's obvious what the surprise is. It's Thea Trinidad. It's 100% Thea Trinidad. That's what the surprise is. So then, this match got booked. And I said, Vicky Guerrero wrestling? I'm not sure I buy that. So, seems to me that maybe Thea Trinidad debuts next week on Wednesday and fills in for Vicky Guerrero. So it's Britt Baker and Reba Rebel versus Thea Trinidad and Nyla Rose. And Thea Trinidad is that bridge between Andrade and Thea and Vicky and Nyla. Kind of brings them all together as one. And then eventually you could even do a thing where Andrade and Thea split from Vicky. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? It makes a lot of sense. You know it does. But, there's a slight chance that it's not going to happen. And I'm just hyped up for no reason whatsoever. That's possible as well. I hope it's not. But, after they ran through the match card and showed this one, JR said, hey, something seems a little fishy about that tag match. Adding up, isn't it? So, man, I got my fingers crossed. Oh, and the other thing, and we didn't talk about this because I didn't do a post show last week. They had that Andrade vignette. He was dressed in a pinstripe suit and he had a black mask on, resembling a skull. He was doing a cosplay of Black Mask. Cosplay? Who does cosplay? You guessed it. Thea Trinidad does cosplay. So I'm over here like Charlie from It's Always Sunny, and I got myself a board and I got some red yarn, and I'm like putting together all these pictures and trying to make things happen. I hope it works. But I got my hopes up. I'm hoping for it. I need to see them reunite. And the rumors of her being back in WWE, from what I understand, Sean Ross Sapp and both Dave Meltzer said that there was no official contract and they never ended up signing anything. So when Aleister Black got released, and it seems all but certain that Aleister Black is going to head to AEW, it only makes sense that she heads there as well. Only makes sense. Sava says that Britt would have to lose in the tag match. She wouldn't have to lose. Thea doesn't have to win. She doesn't have to win. She's not a wrestler. I mean, she is, but predominantly she would just be there to be a manager and fill the gap with Andrade and Nyla. That's my guess. That's what I'm going for. Gyro says Darby versus Sting, loser retires match. Darby becomes Sting's protege. Yeah, I could see something like that. Sava says I don't blame you for thinking that Sting will turn on Darby after the Undisputed Era. Anything could happen. Undisputed Era is fine. Obi James says Britt's title reign so far is like Becky's Raw Women's title reign. Historic win leading to a disappointing first feud. I think the feud is disappointing for a reason. I think that they're just getting Nyla Rose out of the way. That's what I think. Just a delay to get other people healthy and up. I'm not sure if Tay Conti is clear to wrestle. Anna Jay is currently out as well. I don't know what Thunder Rosa is doing. I don't know what Serena Deeb are doing, but it just seems kind of like a filler. That's all. Jaro says Vicky gonna pull a Shane McMahon, Paul Heyman, Adam and Pierce, and Zelina Vega gonna take over. Yes. Yep. 100%. Sava says Andrade was cosplaying Black Mask. That might be wordplay on Black Mask. Aleister Black's finisher. Aleister is married to, yes, you guessed it, Thea Trinidad. Look at the detective work here. I'm so proud. So proud. Makes me excited. I hope it happens, man. I'm going to be pissed. I've hyped myself up to a point where I'm going to be pissed if it doesn't happen. So fingers crossed for that. Up next, we had a match between Kris Statlander and the Bunny. I'm not sure why they had to do shenanigans for this because it's the Bunny. I don't get it. So what they did was they had the Blade distract the referee, and he pulled out some knucks and slipped them to the Bunny, but she wasn't able to do it, so they were kind of distracted, and Kris Statlander got the win. I don't think the Bunny needs to be distracted to get a win over her, especially when you're Kris Statlander. It doesn't necessarily make sense. And then afterwards, she got laid out, and the Blade and TH2, correct? Yeah. TH2 came out and attacked Orange Cassidy, and TH2 was holding on to Orange Cassidy, and the Blade hit him in the head with the brass knucks. So I'm not really sure where this is headed either. Trent just had neck fusion surgery today, so Orange Cassidy is kind of not with some best friends, I'm not sure if this feud is going to continue or what. the Hardy family office is kind of grown, and it's kind of crazy because they were in the main event as well, which confuses me as well. So I think Statlander dethrones Britt Baker. Very possible. Very possible. I think Ty Conti and Anna Jay are good picks. Thunder Rosa is another really good pick if she ends up signing with the company. I'm not sure what her deal is with NWA or whatever else that she's doing, but Thunder Rosa dethroning Britt Baker would be incredible. Or Serena Deeb as well. Serena Deeb is incredible as well. So it was announced that next week we will have Dr. Britt Baker teaming up with Rebel to take on Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. That is next Wednesday. Also, Miro will be defending his TNT Championship against Brian Pillman Jr. MJF versus Sammy Guevara. And then the Young Bucks will take on Penta El Zero Miedo and Eddie Kingston. If Penta and Kingston get the win, they get shots at the Tag Team Championships. Obi James says Jade Cargill is the next women's champion, in my opinion. Maybe. That's very possible. She's not wrestling a lot, but she's doing a lot of videos. She's featured every single week. That's very possible. Very, very possible. Safa says the Hardy family office consists of Matt Hardy, Butcher, Blade, Bunny, Private Party, and TH2. Yeah, I was more so referring to just like I'll explain it. I'll explain it in a minute. Okay, so Vance says tell us the date when you're gonna see your face and when the hell is 1080p coming. Is there not 1080p? Really? Let me look. Output, simple. Oh, do I just need to up the bitrate? Oh, my bad. I thought I fixed that. Oh, it is downscaled to 720. Huh. Okay, well, I guess okay. I thought I fixed that, but I guess not. I don't know when the date is for face reveal. I don't know, but I'll milk it and I'll promote it like for a while, for sure. Because I do want to start doing videos. Like, an idea that I kind of want to give a try is to do videos for Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and Dynamite. And then like do video reviews of them, but like kind of cover them as well. And then no post shows for those. And then do like a Sunday stream, which would be like a super show. And the live stream would consist of like all of the important things from the week that people would want to talk about. And then we would just kind of like hang out for like 2 or 3 hours or whatever on a Sunday night and just talk about things. I don't know though. I think that's the next thing that I'm going to try, because I do want to play around with things, and I do want to do a lot more videos, topic videos and like discussions and stuff like that. Gyro says, who do you see being the one to dethrone Kenny Omega? My personal pick is Adam Page. Yes, Adam Page. Where's Carlito? Not working with WWE, apparently. They never came up with a deal. I thought he was going to be a trainer for them, but I guess that didn't work out either. Next up is our main event match of the night. Kenny Omega defending his AEW World Championship against Jungle Boy. This match had a 60-minute time limit, and despite there was like, 15-20 minutes left, about 20 minutes of the show left before 20 minutes of the show left is what I'm trying to say. Jesus. But this match had a 60-minute time limit, so they were saying, look, we're not leaving, so if this spills over our airtime, we're gonna stay with it, we're gonna have a winner. So I was kind of excited about that. I thought like, oh, maybe it's gonna go over. It didn't end up going over, which is a shame, because I feel like that adds to like the realism of it. You know, like it's kind of convenient that every single match ends like 2 minutes before the show goes off the air, right? So I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool. Like they'll have some realism to it, where like they'll spill over by like 4 minutes or like 7 minutes or something like that. They didn't end up doing it. And of course, Kenny Omega ended up getting the win over Jungle Boy to retain his AEW World Championship. This was a really good match, and this is another prime example of a loss not being the end of the world. I think that they said Jungle Boy has only suffered one loss so far in 2021. And having your second one come from the world champion is not bad. Holding up against your world champion for 20 minutes is incredible. And I think this just helps further get Jungle Boy over. And I think at some point within the next couple of years, I think that Jungle Boy will be there. I think he will be a world champion in AEW. Obviously a little too soon, but that is for sure going to happen. We are for sure going to see Jungle Boy as a world champion. He is so over. I cannot believe how popular Jungle Boy is. And that song, Tarzan Boy, it was great. It was great. The crowd goes crazy singing along for that and waving their hands. And like when I was at Double or Nothing for the Casino Battle Royal, when I really thought Christian was going to win that. So I was kind of surprised that Jungle Boy did. And when he did, man, the crowd went crazy. Crowd went crazy for that win. It was incredible to see it. It's like it makes you so happy to see someone who is a homegrown talent just get over so much and be so popular. And that song helps him so much. Like it's changed so much. It's just incredible. Delight says, but after the match though, holy overbooking. Yeah, after the match is where I don't necessarily understand a lot of the stuff. Van says, where is Moxley? He just had his baby. Renee just had their baby. So I would assume that he's taking some time off. Where he says Tarzan Boy is over. Yes. So much. It is insane. Absolutely insane. So Kenny Omega retains. He retains the AEW World Championship. And then after the match, he's going to attack Jungle Boy with the championship. But Christian comes out and saves the day and helps get Kenny Omega out of the ring. So this is my first talking point. Talking point number 1. Christian's turning on Jungle Boy, right? This is my second one, right? Like, it seems all too convenient that the veteran guy that gets screwed and loses a world championship opportunity by some homegrown up-and-comer, right? Like, it seems kind of fishy, right? It seems really fishy. Like, Christian's got to turn on him. Like, he gave him like a father-son talk earlier today about being the world champion and beating Kenny Omega and yada, 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 yada. I kind of was thinking that Christian would screw Jungle Boy out of this win and they would have happened there. But I don't know. It seems inevitable. It seems like I wouldn't be surprised if Christian versus Jungle Boy was not on Full Gear or All Out. I feel like that match is happening at one of those two shows. It's got to be coming. It's got to be. It makes so much sense. And I think, hear me out, Christian working with Jungle Boy, I think that Christian could help elevate Jungle Boy to even further than where he is now. So a feud with him, and then Jungle Boy getting the win over Christian at Full Gear or All Out, whatever it is, I think that does wonders to help propel Jungle Boy up even further. Trevin says, I love how Edge made an appearance in the final moments of SmackDown, and then Christian makes an appearance in the final minutes of AEW, right? On Friday and Saturday. Just the day after each other. Gyro says Christian has to turn heel. It's got to happen. Like, it makes so much sense. It seems like it makes so much sense. I don't know. So then afterwards, Christian is out here. Matt Hardy comes out with Private Party, I believe, and Christian knocks off Private Party, but Matt Hardy gets the best of him. But then, Christian is about to hit the God, I don't know what they call it. This is the Impaler. I don't know what they call it here. But the Young Bucks come out and super kick Christian. This was a mess afterwards. There was so much going on. You had Jungle Boy and Kenny out here. You had Christian. You had Matt Hardy. You had the Young Bucks. You had the Good Brothers, I believe, as well. Like, there was just so many people. Kill Switch is what they call it. There's just so many people in the ring. And I don't know why all of this is. Kill Switch. Okay. 300 days as champion. That's crazy. It doesn't feel like Roman's been champion for 300 days at all. But I don't know. Like AEW does this brawl shit way too much. It's always brawls. They had two of them this episode, of course, between the Inner Circle and Pinnacle, which seems to be a weekly thing that happens. And then, well, I guess it kind of had three if you consider the Blade and TH2 attacking Orange Cassidy as a brawl. But man, they got to tone it down on the brawls. Like this is like their bread and butter. Like they love to have people brawl. And I don't think it's needed. Like I really would have just preferred that this show went off the air after Kenny winning. Just let it breathe. Let it live. Like we know that Christian and Matt Hardy are feuding. Matt Hardy locked him in the cage last week. Haha, Christian Cage. And then this week, even when Jungle Boy was talking to Christian, they mentioned Matt Hardy and he said he would deal with him. Like we understand all of this stuff, but I don't really feel like we needed it. The one thing, I mean, at least thank God, the thing that AEW is smart enough to do is they're smart enough to have their matches end before they do this shit. So like WWE, they'll have their match end in a disqualification for absolutely no reason. At least AEW will have a match finish and then they'll do the nonsense. Obi James says SmackDown usually starts with Roman. AEW usually ends with a big brawl. Yeah, it's like clockwork. It's like clockwork. I mean, every time, every single time. So I don't know. I could, like I said, I could have gone without this. I think all of this stuff is pretty obvious. It's inevitable that this stuff is going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, watch out for Christian turning. Watch out for Sting or Darby Allin turning. There's about to be some some friendships broken here. Jungle Boy versus Christian, Full Gear, All Out. That's a great match. Great match. Van says, hey, by the way, Kevin wanted to take a break and he's returning next week to fight Sammy in a last man standing match. I saw that, which is crazy. Like, it's crazy to be like, hey, I need a break. Like, this shit's just too crazy for me. I need a break. And then it's like, hey, surprise, you're working next week. But hey, guess what? It's not just a match. It's a fucking last man standing match. Oh my God, man. It's great. Of course it'll be a great match because it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but like, damn. Last man standing match is crazy. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for me. I think we went over everything for tonight's show. Pretty sure. Overall, I thought it was a good show. This is probably one of my favorite episodes of Dynamite since the playoff era, the Friday night era, the Saturday night. It's still weird as hell to be here on a Saturday. Like I said, Saturday is usually my day where I just roam around and do lots of stuff. But here I am. I'm at home for Saturday. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Van says USA did the Hell in a Cell match on Raw as they wanted to increase their viewership, and this week the viewership dropped. Funny, isn't it? Viewership for SmackDown was up just barely, just slightly up as well, which is crazy. Where it says KO and Sammy having another match with actual stakes just makes Hell in a Cell even more unnecessary. Yep, it really is. And they need to get rid of Hell in a Cell. They really do. Obi James says that break was as long as Charlotte's suspension. That was weird too. That's a lot of weird things. Vance says, again, not as weird as attending it on Sunday morning. Yeah, I couldn't watch wrestling in the morning. That'd be so weird. And that's one of the reasons why I've never tuned into NXT UK is because it's not in the morning, but it's at like noon, I think, for me. And I'm like, man, I don't want to sit here and cover something at noon. I don't know. I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do at noon. But I really want to give this a try. It might be something that I don't know when I'll actually do it, but I want to try not doing the shows live. I want to try not doing any live coverage whatsoever. No live coverage. And then doing like actual reviews of the shows. Once they hit my DVR, I can go through and record them, and I can get like really high quality pictures of everything that I want to talk about and everything, and then doing review videos of those that would be up in the morning It's something that I want to explore doing. And then just doing topic videos. Am I covering July 14th SmackDown? Is that the first one with crowds back? If so, yeah. I will probably, the plan as of right now is to live cover the first 2 episodes of Raw and SmackDown. Not 2 episodes of Raw and SmackDown, but the first episodes of Raw and SmackDown. When fans come back. And I'm not sure what that means for AEW Underground and FFBW on the gaming channel. I'm not sure if we'll just do them afterwards or if we'll just move days for them or something. I don't necessarily know. I do want to start streaming later in the day. So I wouldn't mind doing those streams afterwards. But I'm also not sure that that's something that I'm going to continue doing. I will tune in on those episodes, and if they're not good, then that's just it. I'm just not going to watch them anymore. At least for the live coverage. Because I don't feel like I'm missing out on things, but I always have this like inner battle where it's like, this is what I decided to do, right? Like this was the path that I chose. I chose to cover wrestling, and I chose to want to do these live shows. I chose to want to cover them and like cover news and all sorts of things like that. Like this is something that I picked to do. So it feels like it's my job to watch Raw and SmackDown. So I always feel like guilty for not watching them in the back of my mind. Like I said, because that's something that I wanted to do, and it's something I sought out to do. So I always feel guilty about doing that. So like I kind of want to cover them in a different way. But I don't know. I just haven't decided. There's tons of post shows. There's tons of like reviews and stuff. And I want to focus on more like more unique content. More like, I don't know. Everything has always been like community based for me. So like I love doing these post shows, not because I necessarily care about giving a review about the shows, but it's just fun hanging out with you guys, with people. Like I don't care if there's 10,000 people here. I don't care if there's 2 people here. Like if I'm having a cool conversation with 2 people, like that's cool. That's what this whole thing is designed for. Like I want to be community based. So I want to figure out a way to play off of that a little bit more and do like more sorts of discussions and topics and stuff like that. Because I think there's room for it, but I just haven't decided exactly what I want to do yet. And when I try these other things, they're not going to be set in stone. Like when I try doing the videos and don't do the live streams, it'll be for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something, and I'll see how it goes. Obviously, like if nothing changes, then it's not worth doing the videos, and you just go back to doing the live streams. But if we do the videos and like things take off, it's like, okay, this is a better route that we can do things and do all of that. Van says, you want to do something unique, book a cameo with Humberto Carrillo. I bet that's something cool. Oh God, never never never. But yeah, I'm just constantly like thinking. I'm a very creative person. And so like my mind is always like, I'm always trying to come up with something different to do and a way to change things. And I think now in this time where I've kind of slowed down and I'm okay with not watching Raw and SmackDown. Cause there was a long time that I wanted to quit, and I was just like, look, you chose to do this. So like stop being a little bitch and just watch the shows. I did that for a very long time. Very long time. So now that I'm away from doing them, I kind of just want to like do them in my own time, later at night, do reviews and stuff like that. And since I'm watching like Lucha Underground and stuff, I kind of want to do reviews of those as well while I watch them, just kind of like on my own time. Not something that I do like daily or weekly or something, but just as I progress through them, just watch them. I kind of want to start watching NWA Power as well. I've heard a lot of good things about that. Heard a lot of bad things about that as well, but some good things about that. And just kind of, I don't know, maybe doing the Dark and Dark Elevation, just kind of covering things, but covering them later at night on my own time where I don't have to sit through and watch commercials. If I watch Raw live, it's 3 hours of my life, right? But if I wait until Raw's over and it's on my DVR, I can skim through it. I don't necessarily need to watch, I don't need to watch any of the commercials, which is a third of the show. So now I'm down to 2 hours. And then if I cut out unnecessary things that I don't need to see, like backstage promos or matches that I have no interest in, I can skim through them and hopefully like finish Raw in like an hour, and then be able to be able to like review them and be in touch and do something. I don't know. Van says, if you stop doing this post shows, me and many other people are gonna comment nothing but I miss the old AEW. I want to do. I don't know. I just want to explore. That's all. That's all. And when I do the videos, if I even do end up doing it, because it's just an idea at this point. It's just an idea. When I do the videos, or if I do the videos, there will be a weekly live stream as well. But like I said, it'll be more of a big deal type thing. Like we'll cover news and big things that happen, stuff like that. And then pay-per-views, those would all be live covered and stuff. The post shows afterwards, I believe as well. I think that'd be the route to go. But I just want to play with it. I want to explore. I want to see what works, what doesn't work. I say this all the time, even about WWE, is that like when you become complacent, you just die. If there's no innovation, if there's no changing anything, like if I just sit here and just do a post show after all of these, like there's gonna be no growth. There's gonna be no change in anything. We're just gonna sit here and have conversations about a post show. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, eventually I would like to grow all of these platforms and do special things and work with other people and just do some fun stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. No, I wouldn't turn it off completely. No, it would be a weekly thing. It'd be weekly for sure. And I don't know. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. That's all. I've even thought about just doing, cutting them down to an hour and then doing a video afterwards, which is another thing that's very possible. That would probably only be for NXT and Dynamite. So probably, do an hour post show afterwards. Just kind of talk about the shows, like just get to it, not do much else. Talk about the show with everyone, and then when I'm done, do a video review of them. Lots of ideas, man. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of ideas, but I have no idea where to go yet. All right, we're about to hit that 2-hour mark, so I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on a Saturday. I appreciate it. It's different for sure. It's different for sure. I'm very interested to see how their ratings did for Saturday, which is something I need to get back into. Like, man, I haven't been covering ratings since Showbuzz died. It's so fucking confusing. Like, they come in so sporadically, and like sometimes the numbers are wrong and they're changed. So like, still waiting on that source so I can start covering that stuff again and keep a log. But I'm very curious to see what they do. Can't do all the things alone. Yeah, that's something else I've looked into as well. Thank you, Gyro. I appreciate it. Thank you, Warrior, for tuning in as well. Thank you, Vanch, for the super chats and everything. I appreciate it. Thank you, Obi James. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see here. We'll be here on Monday on the gaming channel. Don't forget another episode of AEW Underground live during Monday Night Raw. That should be a lot of fun. Booking up until Night of Champions as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you all on Monday. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I will see you then. Peace.